Imagine opening your phone right now. You scroll with your finger, and suddenly you feel something heavy in your chest. An old friend bought a new house. A colleague got a promotion you didn't get. Your face smiles, but something inside you shrinks. You blame yourself immediately. You tell yourself, this is an ugly feeling. This is envy. I need to get rid of it. But what if I told you that this very feeling is one of the oldest and smartest tools evolution ever gave you? What if envy isn't a flaw in your character, but an ancient alarm system designed specifically to keep you alive? The real answer is far more complex than you think. Tens of thousands of years ago, humans didn't live alone. They lived in small groups, where every member depended on the others for survival. Food was limited, resources were scarce, and your position within the group literally determined whether you'd eat tonight or not. In a world like that, comparing yourself to others wasn't a luxury. It was a necessity. Evolutionary psychologist David Buss spent years studying why we feel what we feel toward those around us. He discovered that envy isn't a random emotion, but a precise information system. When someone else has something you need and don't have, your brain sends out a powerful signal. That signal tells you one thing clearly: pay attention, there's a gap that needs closing. Isn't it strange that the very feeling you're ashamed of was once a survival tool? Think about it from another angle. If your ancestors felt no discomfort at all when they saw someone else with a better shelter, better hunting tools, or a stronger ally, what would have happened? They would have stayed exactly where they were. They wouldn't have sought to improve their situation. And they wouldn't have survived in a harsh world that rewards only those who adapt. Envy, at its core, was an internal motivation engine. Painful, yes, but effective researcher Sarah Hill offered a deeper angle. She studied how this feeling changes depending on environment. In societies suffering from scarce resources, envy becomes sharper and more motivating toward action. In more abundant environments, it tends to be lighter and less urgent. In other words, your body is constantly measuring its surroundings, and it uses this very feeling as a precise gauge of how much danger you're facing. But does that mean all envy is useful? Of course not. And here lies the real complexity. Researchers Richard Smith and Sonia Lyubomirsky distinguish between two completely different types of this feeling. The first type they call benign envy. This type pushes you forward. It makes you work harder, learn more, try to reach what the other person achieved. The second type they call malicious envy. This type doesn't want to rise itself. It wants to bring the other person down to its level. The difference between them isn't in the feeling itself, but in what you do with it afterward. Have you noticed this in yourself before? That moment when you see someone else's achievement, and you feel either an urge to move or an urge to diminish the value of what they accomplished. The real problem today isn't that this feeling exists. The problem is that the world we live in now is completely different from the world this system was designed for. Your ancestors compared themselves to at most 50 people. You, on the other hand, compare yourself daily to millions of people through a screen. Carefully curated lives, perfect photos, achievements displayed at their best. Your ancient brain doesn't know the difference between a carefully designed post and a complete real life, so it envies you over something it doesn't even know is real to begin with. This explains why so many people today feel exhausted by endless comparisons. A system designed to fire once every few months is now firing dozens of times an hour. So what do you do with this information? The first step isn't trying to kill this feeling inside you. That's impossible, and it wouldn't work anyway. The first step is to ask yourself a simple question the moment this feeling appears. Do I want to rise, or do I want to bring the other person down? That question alone turns the ancient signal from a psychological burden into a useful compass. The next time you feel that familiar tightness in your chest at seeing someone else's success, pause for a moment. Don't blame yourself. Don't be ashamed of the feeling. Instead, ask yourself honestly, what is this feeling telling me about something I truly want? In the end, you don't open your phone just to scroll through random photos. You carry with you an ancient alarm system, tens of thousands of years old, trying to tell you one simple thing. There's a gap worth closing. And the only question that matters is how you're going to close it.